And just when I think I'm done talking about the IWC nonsense, and I'm done talking about AEW lashing out at every fan ever known to man that ever criticizes them and pretends that, every criticism's bad criticism and lump everybody together, I'm hit with the old classic Billy Mays Donoso slap style of, wait, there's more! We're going to be talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of follow-up for the Dutch Mantel stuff. We got a lot of the stuff going on with, we got a lot of stuff going on between Shamrock Sapp's crew and Devon Dudley. He talked about it on the Duke Loves Wrestling show, the Duke and Devon show specifically on Spotify. If you have not checked that out, very interesting podcast. I suggest you give it a listen. It's on Spotify. I will link those in the description. And yeah, I'll actually be appearing on there later on by the time this is out. But yeah, we're going to be covering that. We're going to be covering the CM Punk words. We're going to be covering the pseudo response by Eddie Kingston. We're going to be covering the Danhausen drama. We're going to be covering a whole nine. We're even going to cover something that I got involved in, which got over 22,000 impressions on X. I think that's the most impressions I've gotten for anything on YouTube, period. So, yeah, all that and more coming up right here on the JHebert side. So, oh boy, we're in for a loaded one again. Hopefully this will be a lot shorter, because even though I have more stuff I think than I did the last one, this won't be too terribly long comparatively speaking. So, there you go. The following views are strictly the views of James Hebert and do not represent anybody that works with the JHebert Studios or is a part of the JHebert Studios.
Straight from JHebert Studios, James covers the good, the bad, and the ugly, and gives his perspective on things. Now here is your host, James Hebert.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of the JHebert side of things, and another installment on the AEW versus IWC meta drama going on right now. It is wild, and we got people that aren't even on Twitter involved in the drama that we have today. You've seen the thumbnail. You've seen how many people are fucking involved in this hodgepodge of shit. So yeah, we're going to be covering it all today. A lot of jellyback humanoid bastards, as Duke puts it. I love that term, and I'm gonna take it from him, but credit goes to Duke Loves Wrestling for that. There's a lot of jellybacks, a lot of people that don't want to face the truth, and a lot of people that don't want to take accountability when they fuck up. And AEW is chief among them. Tony Khan's chief among them. Dave Meltzer is chief among them. And a lot of things are going to be covered here, and a lot of things are going to be exposed, even more so than they already were in the last fucking part of this, which was part one at this point. This has now become a two-part series because there's a lot of follow-up that we are going to be going over. So, I'm not even going to waste any more time. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a follow-up. Dutch Mantel responds to Uncle Dave and his hodgepodge of bullshit. And we are going to be covering that right here and right now. So, this is from the Wrestling Soup podcast. Mish and Joey Numbers run this podcast. We're going to be going over quickly what has happened between Dave Meltzer and Dutch Mantel that led us up to his response that we will be hearing from Dutch himself shortly on.
Dave Meltzer is at it again, talking about Dutch Mantel. Quoted by Meltzer says what? Dave Meltzer went into his Figure 4 online letter and he said, Dutch Mantel is not doing well, nor is his wife Kathy. He's battled sepsis twice over the last year. Both times, he took his life. He had a month-long stay in the hospital. After the second time, he and his wife have both had sepsis and diverticulitis to the point that she's been hospitalized 11 times since May, just had an emergency bowel resection surgery, and has lost 70 pounds. Because of the extended hospital stays, their insurance and life savings are depleted and started a GoFundMe because both still need home care. They've raised around $64,000, which they're actually way above that right now, with the top donors being anonymous. And the largest known donors were Tony Khan at $5,000 and Chris Jericho at $1,500. With Tony Khan, many have pointed out that Dutch Mantel as a podcaster was brutal to Khan.
Before we even get to Joey's response to that little quote, I just want to also point this out. They are still well above that goal. I just want to point this out real quick. They weren't Jericho was actually not even one of the largest donors. He's not even chief among them. This is a Dave trying to paint Tony in the most positive light ever, even though this is a situation that absolutely did not need some political agenda behind it. And I don't even think Tony was intending to do that. I think he was honestly doing it out of the kindness of his heart in this case. And Dave made it a political thing, which is so fucking asinine to do. Jericho wasn't even in the top 5 donors. There was 5 different anonymous that donated more than Jericho. James himself donated $4K. James from WSI, he donated $4K. And there were Jim Cornette donated $5K. So again, completely explaining the facts, not at all fucking being truthful about that at all. Jericho did the fact that he offered anything good on Jericho, but he was not one of the largest donors. It's just blatant fucking revisionist history all over again. So, just wanted to point that out before we hear fucking Joey Numbers' rightful fucking response, in my opinion.
And even being critical of him.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Fuck off.
Even being critical of him when the promotion was at its popularity peak. And recently criticizing him for the contract terms that Swerve Strickland got in his recent deal. It is something when a former wrestler gets mad at a promoter who clearly can afford it for what he pays for the top talent.
Fuck all the way. Who wrote this, Meltzer?
Meltzer. Let me continue. Let me finish before we go off on this. And he was doing it even after he knew that the new deal was put together that was going to make the company exceedingly profitable. Wrestlers using the old...
I can't listen to this. This guy's a fucking... What a piece of shit. Well, I get... Well, don't you feel like an asshole now? Because he said that his wrestling show isn't good, and he still gave him money. Fuck you, I
literally just
fucking piece of shit.
I just responded. So make sure to donate, even though he hurt Tony Khan's feelings.
I'm right. Oh, would you?
He literally described how poorly Dutch is doing. He described how poorly Dutch's wife is doing. He talked about the ailments that both of them are suffering, that they've been in the hospital 11 times, that they need money in order to live, to get this home care. He went into it in detail. Dave Meltzer was very, very fucking acutely aware of Dutch Mantel's position.
Say it louder for the people that want to defend this garbage, Mish, please.
Before coming in...
Oh, God. Dude, I'm literally like... I pause once and I get an ad break.
Hot. And saying, but Tony Khan was his biggest donator.
But to the rescue, here comes Tony, even though he made fun of... Dude, this is how fucking sick these people are in the fucking head. I'm sorry. There's no nice way to fucking say this. He made fun of his wrestling show. Motherfucker, he didn't make fun of it. The guy booked wrestling for fucking ever. He knew exactly what he was talking about. He knows way more. This guy with his body eating itself knows more about wrestling than Tony Khan will ever know.
Oh, yeah.
Ever know. And the fact that he's like, oh, he said that even though he made fun of his wrestling show. Motherfucker, you should have been paying this guy for information for years.
Yep.
For years, you should have been giving him money just to, dude, what do you think I should do with this? What should I do with that? Instead, he's taking advice from Will Washington. Fuck off, $5,000. That's like me giving you a fucking nickel.
Right,
Give me
as a
break.
billionaire. Right. But not even just that, but just, dude, literally describing the fact that him and his wife are dying.
Yep.
Literally dying. But thanks to Tony Khan, a guy who Dutch Mantel heavily criticized, Tony Khan single-handedly will save Dutch Mantel's life because that's how magnanimous and what a great, glorious human being that the fucking Tony Khan is to donate $5,000 American dollars to Dutch Mantel and his wife.
I want to apologize to the Patreons real quick because I have a request of you to where he almost died, but then he was saved by Tony Khan. What a fucking pig. What a pig he is for even attempting to, in that moment, to shoehorn in fucking suckery of Tony Khan's balls. That's sickening. That is truly fucking sickening.
And I'm not even going to fucking play the rest of this. If you want to listen to the rest of the clip, you can on your own time. But Joey Numbers and Anthony Mish say it all for me here. I just wanted to give you guys a quick refresher to how outraged people were that Dave even went as far as he fucking did. This shit is just not okay. It's not okay. You don't try and kick somebody who is battling health issues. That's equivalent of kicking a dying corpse, a dead corpse. That is the equivalent of that. It is completely disrespectful. It is completely out of fucking pocket. And it is hilarious to me that, not even 2 years ago, I did a 4-hour podcast eviscerating Jim Cornette for being a garbage human being, for wishing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega death. On his podcast. Right? I fucking reamed this fucker out 10 ways to Sunday when he said that about Kenny Omega and the Bucks because, Kenny wrestled a blow-up doll fucking years ago, and, the Young Bucks, are spot monkeys, right? And that's what they are. That's not an insult, by the way. But I said about them, and this is before I completely jumped off the bandwagon with the Bucks, and I said to them, and I said to Dave, when he was, criticizing Dave, when I thought at the time it was unjustified. I really did, right? I called him out on that show and I said, listen, Dave. Listen, Bucks. Listen, Omega. Ignore it. Take criticisms if you think they're valid and improve upon them to shut him up and just buckle your chin strap, get to work. It's essentially what I said on that show. I gave him advice. Man, did Meltzer not take my fucking advice, because now here I am eviscerating him like I did his old buddy Cornette. In 2 different parts, mind you. In 2 different parts. Man, did they not fucking take criticism well. At all. Does Dave not take it well? Does Tony not take it well? Does fucking the Young Bucks not take it well, or what? Kenny is probably the only one, and at this point, we'll get to him. Oh, we'll get to him. But, Joey Numbers is so right. What a fucking pig. What a pig. This is just as bad as what Cornette did, wishing the Young Bucks death. You do not kick a corpse while it's down. You basically, metaphorically pissed all over him when he was defenseless. Fuck you, Meltzer. Fuck you for this. It's not okay to even do that. So that's the fucking refresher, right? Well, Dutch himself has responded since. Dutch himself had some pretty choice words for Meltzer. We're going to play those right now. In fact, let me get to the actual quote. Because Mitch and, what's-his-face, Sorry, because Mitch and Joey Numbers, I mixed the two names up, so that's why I said that. Sorry, apologies. Let's go to their response.
On a video on WSI as well that a lot of people watch. Basically, Meltzer has turned the milk of human kindness of 2,000 people donating and basically turned it into a hit piece on you because you have been critical about AEW booking in the past.
Well, I try not to give anything Dave Meltzer writes any believability or credence. But that kind of pissed me off because all of a sudden, I think this speaks more of Tony Khan's humanity than it says anything about me.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah, I have been critical of him, but isn't that my job? To go on here and talk about the business? And yes, I have said that he needs more story, and he just doesn't need to put matches together and have them go 15 minutes for no apparent reason other than they're going to have a good match. I mean, I've seen acrobatics and I've seen gymnastics. I've seen the greatest moves in the world. Everybody has, if you watch enough wrestling on TV.
Yep.
But tell me a story. So I'm doing my job, but he's saying, oh, I blasted him. And I think it says much more about Tony Khan than it does about me, really. Because it's like, how many people has Dave Meltzer knocked?
Yeah. Like, that's the fucking craziest bit about this. Like, you're allowed to have criticisms, even if they're not necessarily the kindest, right? We're human beings. That's what's so absurd to me. Dave has done this with companies. Dave has criticized companies. He has constantly berated the WWE. It feels like he'll never fucking accept that the WWE is better. Ever. Despite the fact that they've had, like, he has given not a single match, except for maybe 2 at Mania this year, 5-star fucking matches. 2 of them. It's absurd. I think he fucking rated the Punk and McIntyre Hell in a Cell match lower than the Hangman Page Swerve Strickland Lights Out Cage match. Which, by the way, is hilarious because I love both those matches. Right? Like, I love the story they both told, and they were both just as fucking violent. You know, and I'm a both thing kind of guy when it comes to positive or negative, right? Like, as I discussed, you know, Vince McMahon's a fucking piece of shit. Tony Khan is a very butthurt piece of shit as well. Both can be true. That's been my whole point. So, you know, I've criticized the company. I've criticized WWE for years. I criticized TNA for years. You know? We're fucking human. We're not gonna like everything that's fucking given to us by a fucking media company. Right? How many people have you heard knock Marvel Studios for the movies they've been producing lately? How many people have you heard knock Disney as a company? Or Universal Studios as a company? Or whatever conglomeration? You know? Warner Media. Right? Fucking, how many criticisms have you heard from all sorts of life about anything? And wrestling gets so into their feelings. Wrestlers and managers, you know, especially managers, get so into their feelings when they're called out on this shit. You know? They get so butthurt and offended. It baffles my mind. How many people has Dave knocked? A ton. I can name you 15 times he has knocked TNA with Bryan Alvarez in tow. Who, you know, Alvarez is now knocking Meltzer on his own platform.
Well,
so anyway,
you just then, at your lowest point.
No kidding. And you can knock me, Dave. I mean, but you're knocking my family now. And that is a no-no almost in any business. Mm-hmm. I almost died. My wife almost died. But yet, you, to make a point that you don't like me, you got to come out and you got to blast me for that. So, yes, I did say not flattering things about Tony Khan. But Meltzer, you've done a lot worse because you've had your thing going a lot longer than I have.
Yep.
And I was just basically doing my job.
Yep.
So he pisses me off. I can't quite get my thoughts together. Well, I'm still recovering from what he said. I would like to walk up on him. I can't now. I'm too old now. But I would just like to walk up on Meltzer and just slap the dog shit out of him. Really. Because some things deserve a good, hard slapping. Not a punch, but a slapping. And
Mitch on a follow-up to reviewing this said, or punch works too. Like, yeah, like, it really is the time-tested Mike Tyson quote. Ironic enough that, you know, he took the money and ran. Some people say so much shit online. So much shit. They're so used to that they, you know, they're so used to saying whatever they want and not getting punched in the mouth for it. And in this case, I think Dave is warranted a fucking smack, honestly.
I've read some of Meltzer's stuff. Yeah, I could knock that too, and I've always said he is a good writer. He's a prolific writer, but he just writes too much. And he goes on and on and on and on. So I don't even know why people even pay attention to him anymore. But I don't even know why he had to get that in there. Unless you said he had a score to settle with me. And why was that score? And you're right. You're on your analysis of it. Yeah, he's pissed at me. And he's been pissed for like 5 years.
Yeah, okay, so so we've talked about this before. Is this purely over a disagreement over how many people were at an event in Memphis back in the day? Or am I reading something else?
Which, if that's the fucking case, right? We're going to argue over fucking semantics? We're going to argue over semantics about an event that happened in Memphis. Oh, there may have papered some tickets. Oh, my lord. God forbid, right? The arena was pretty full. So who gives a shit? It's the same thing when WWE buffs up their numbers. AEW buffed up theirs! Still had 80,000 people in the building. That's a huge accomplishment for them. You mentioned that in your newsletter, and you were so quick to defend AEW for it. You were so quick to defend AEW for it. They still had 80,000 people, even if it was 70,000 paid. That's what you said in your own newsletter, Dave. You said this, but you never give a break to WWE. You never gave a break to anything you didn't like. You can never give a break to TNA, and people call you out on that, even if it's in a joking manner. There was a TNA show that they sold out on, but there was like a certain amount of people that paid, right? I think it was either Deadlock or OSW. It might have been both. And they said, just give him something, Dave. No. So Deadlock he did the same thing with ECW. They reviewed an ECW show. He couldn't take the papering, and he couldn't just give them fucking credit for the house that they still drew, you know, regardless of the paying or not. He's like, you couldn't give them anything, Dave? And then fucking OSW said the same thing about a TNA show when they did their TNA arc for the Main Event Mafia. I think it was the final video for Bound for Glory. Right? So yeah. I mean, this is the shit he does all the time. Whatever company he favors, he'll fucking paper those numbers any goddamn time he can. That's just how he does it. And yeah, it's just so fucking annoying.
Out of it.
No, he was printing a bunch of misinformation. And when I tried to correct him, he wasn't going to do that. I did this on Twitter when it was still Twitter. And all of a sudden, you know, I blasted him a couple of times on there, and people were reading it, and he just blocked me out of the clear blue, and I've never heard another word from him. Now, that's a chicken shit way to do. If he wants to defend himself, defend yourself, Dave.
Yep.
But he said, I think he told somebody he was clogging up my Twitter, and he was doing this, and he was doing no. I was telling the truth, and you didn't want people to know it, Dave.
Yep.
I've left it alone for now, but I wish I still had that thread, but I don't anymore.
That being he said, my video that I did a couple of days ago has done 125,000 views, right? Something like that. And there's no way he can't know about it. There's no way that he can't. Here's the thing. I don't think he will ever reference it. Because like when he when he posted on a Wrestling Observer bulletin board forum, this like screenshot of an Excel spreadsheet of AEW's expenses of 2023 or whatever it was. And it was just something that somebody made up, and then without checking anyone, Meltzer posted it as real, and then started analyzing it. He even had the word guess.
And that's just, I won't go on to the rest of this, but yeah, I mean, he said what was, needed to be said there when it comes to that. Like, this is the type of dude that, we're dealing with. Like, this is a guy who legitimately does not give a single shit of, fact-checking his sources. And he hasn't. For years, he hasn't. He hasn't and will never. And it's really absurd that after all this time, he cannot get that through his head. So, to prove that, by the way, to prove that he'll just run with anything, we got another clip from WSI, and this is a recent clip. This is Eric Bischoff on James's show, doing a Wrestling Shoot interview, where he admits, and other companies have admitted to this too, and basically said that they feed him misinformation on purpose.
Dave Meltzer had wrote in his little newsletter something about Dutch Mantel. Now, I don't need to go through it all, and I promise you, everybody, this is going to be really the last time I mention it, because I did a video on my own. I did a video with Dutch about the situation, but I'll clue people in sort of the abridged version. Dutch was very, very sick. He still is sick. His wife is sick. His daughter released a GoFundMe. It did so much better than anyone had even a right to think it would do. They were hoping for, ultimately, they were thinking $5,000-$10,000, and they'd be more than grateful. It ended up going to, just last check, just shy of 105,000.
That is so wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, tell me about it as well. I'm so happy. And I spoke to his daughter Amanda, and she's over the moon. She's like done a big list of everything that they're going to do to sort of make their lives better, because it's a daily struggle for them both at the same time. That being said, Dave Meltzer then decided that this sort of act of charity, this milk of human kindness, then really had to be some sort of crusade of his own to belittle Dutch in some way, with his ramblings and talking about, well, Dutch has been horrible about AEW. It's like, no, we've been critical. Not horrible. Never been horrible to Tony Khan the Man. And Tony Khan the Man, who, from all intents and purposes, is a lovely, lovely guy, donated $5,000 to the GoFundMe. We've never criticised the man. We've only criticised the AEW booking, as I'm sure it's the same with you. I'm sure it's the same with other podcasters as well.
Yep.
Now, you read it. What do you think?
Throw me in that list.
Unfortunately, I wasn't surprised. It's just another example of how disconnected Dave Meltzer is from anything outside of his own bizarre little bubble. And Dave, I don't know what it is about Dave. Well, I take that back. I think I do, to a degree. Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer talk all the time.
Yep.
Now, I'm not in the room when they talk, so I'm
Just for the record, if people don't believe that actually does happen, Brian Alvarez himself has confirmed that he talks with Tony. So they talk every day, if not every week. At the very least, every week.
I guess spreading a rumor, but I've
You're
heard
not spreading
from
a
so
rumor.
many people that are close to Tony and Dave that have all said the same thing. Tony relies on Dave Meltzer's input way too much.
Yep.
Dave Meltzer has way too much influence over Tony Khan and the end product. Now, Dave isn't there producing the show or writing the show that I know of.
Yep.
But definitely has a lot of influence.
Way too
And
much.
For Dave Meltzer, that's like, finally, after all these years of trying to convince everybody that I'm a wrestling expert and
that I know
how
what
to
I'm
produce a
talking
wrestling
about, yeah.
show, and I know more about the wrestling business than anybody else because I study it. You hear him talking about how he studies the business. He's just a fan like everybody else. He's an obsessive, compulsive fan, unlike most people. But there are a lot of them. There are a lot of obsessive, compulsive Dave Meltzer type fans out there. And that's where Dave's comfort zone is. But because Dave now has direct connection to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan has a nationally televised, professional wrestling show, Dave feels validated. For the first time in his miserable fucking life, he feels validation. So that when Dutch or me or Jim Cornette or Bruce Pritchard or anybody else criticizes the product, Dave takes that way personally.
Yep.
Because now we're criticizing something that he has influence in or over.
If a man wears this, he's definitely getting
and that's another
lucky
thing,
tonight.
folks. Like,
Most jeans.
As we go to an ad break, I'll just add to what Bischoff said here. It's unbelievable that you get that fucking butthurt over people's fucking opinion. Not everybody's gonna like the same thing. And if the majority of people don't like what you're producing, it is your job to fucking course correct. It is not our job to fucking keep watching if you keep feeding us the same bullshit. It's not our job. It will never be our job. So, when Bischoff says stuff like that, it rings true. And if anybody should know that, it's Eric Bischoff who done that mistake twice. And he's trying to help Dave and Tony correct these mistakes, and they're refusing to fucking learn from it. They're refusing. These are the same guys that will criticize this man right here for doing these things to WCW and TNA. Which, by the way, TNA he wasn't even fully in control of, as we found out way after the fact, right? Because it's just fucking mind-numbingly stupid. It's mind-numbingly stupid that you cannot... you criticize this man for so long, yet you don't practice anything that you've preached in the Observer over the last God knows how many years. It's actually amazing to me. It's amazing to me. This guy has made you look like a clown. He's made you look like a clown. And the problem is, even if you had legitimate points against this guy, he has buried you as getting shit wrong over and over again, and he's had facts to back it up on his 83-week show. And people want to completely dismiss that because, he's just trying to protect his ass. He doesn't want to accept it. Well, explain, David Zaslav, not David Zaslav, he's the current owner. But, explain how the executives at Turner and Warner at the time also fucking backed the shit up too. Explain why so many people have backed up what Eric has said. Explain that one. But, because he has influence on it, now he has to take everything fucking personally. So therefore, nothing. They learn nothing from what they preached about what happened to WCW and TNA. It's fucking amazing to me.
And it's the first time in Dave's miserable life that he's ever had any form of validation, other than the group of little weirdos that follow him and believe everything he says. So I think that's why he reacts the way he does. And says some of the stupidest things that I've ever heard anybody say, talking about the television industry and his view of the wrestling world and what works and what doesn't work. And look, a lot of us have that. I'll do the same thing with, American football. I have strong opinions about it because I like watching it, but I don't know how to play the game. I've never touched a football in a competitive environment. I've never produced a football game. I've never worked in the NFL. But I've got some opinions I like to spout off every once in a while if there's somebody dumb enough to take my word for some of the stuff I say. And that's Dave Meltzer. Somehow he's convinced himself that he's an expert of the business. Tony Khan thinks he's an expert. And he's not. Takes his direction, I guess, in a lot of ways. But it's failing so miserably. You obviously saw last week's show because you talked about the girl shaking her tits. That was maybe the worst professional wrestling episode I have ever seen on a major television platform. That show was so horrible from the very beginning until the very end that I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, how does anybody let this happen in prime time on a major cable outlet. It really was like a bunch of 10-year-old kids got together and produced a wrestling show for a high school project. That's what it looked like to me and felt like. It was just embarrassingly bad.
And to be fair to Harley Cameron, I have come to her defense because I thought her segments on Rampage and Collision were way better and obviously showcased a lot more of her character. And it was clear as day that it really had very little influence of Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer. You can't say that about that segment on Dynamite. I mean, it was still funny if you look at it in a vacuum, but, on top of all the other direct that they had that week, it was not great.
It's funny, I just listened to Meltzer's review of that show. He said it was pretty good. Wouldn't you believe? Oh, no, it wasn't the show's fault. It was the fans' fault for being quiet.
I mean, what a distorted it's a completely inverted reality. And this is the guy who studies the business, professes to know what works in wrestling and what doesn't work, that can't connect the obvious dots between a performer and the audience. It's not the audience's fault if the performer or the storylines are just not interesting.
Nope.
They're not going to react because you want them to. People are going to react because you've created a story and characters and moments that's playing out in front of them that evokes, it creates emotion. If the talent or the stories don't create the emotion, what are people supposed to react to? I don't know. It's just another example of just how inverted Dave's world really is.
You used to talk to him, though, didn't you? I don't know if you ever liked the guy or, were friends with him, but I believe you
here it
used to
is.
talk to him in the WCW.
Here's him admitting what he did.
As far as you're concerned?
No, he's exactly the same. Let me tell you a little story about that. There was a guy by the name of Zane Breslau. Mm-hmm. Worked for WCW. Zane had previously worked. He was a promoter. He was an independent promoter, but WWE would use him if they were going to different markets where Zane was very... Because Zane also produced rock and roll. If the Stones were coming to town, Zane and his company, along with perhaps another company, would handle the promotion in that local market. So Zane had very deep relationships with local media and potential advertisers and sponsors. That's what Zane did. Zane left WWE, came to work for WCW, and Zane and I became pretty good friends. Very different people, obviously, but there was a lot of things I really enjoyed about Zane. And Zane was friends with Dave Meltzer. So after a while, Zane was kind of chipping away because he knew how I felt about Dave Meltzer. I felt the same way then as I do today.
Yep.
And Zane said, man, you just got to give him a chance. Just, I know he says some stupid shit and I know he's wrong about a lot of stuff, but he's really a good guy. You should really get to know him. So I said, all right, I don't want to be so close-minded that I refuse to talk to anybody. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean that they don't have some value.
And right there shows more about Eric Bischoff than it does about fucking Dave. Because Dave wouldn't even give it a second thought. If he thinks you're wrong, he is going to treat you like a fucking peon. He literally does this every week on Twitter. Every day on Twitter. He's probably doing the same thing on whatever other app he uses. Guarantee it. Right? Bischoff is trying to give this guy a chance all the way back in God knows when, probably like 95, 96. Trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Right? Because of his friend, Zane, who was friends with this guy. And he gives him an opening. He gives him opening for inside information. True, genuine, authentic insider information. Just by going to the fucking source. Which would be Bischoff. Right there.
So I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I started having somewhat regular conversations, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks for 15 minutes, right? And my hope, my intention was that if I gave Dave Meltzer access to me, then perhaps rather than just writing stupid shit that he heard through the grapevine, so to speak, that he would feel like he had access. He could call me directly and ask whatever questions he wanted to ask, or get whatever information that he felt that he wanted to write about. At least get an opinion from someone other than whoever his sources were.
And by the way, this is what you're supposed to do in journalism. What Bischoff is saying is what you're supposed to do in journalism. You know, I'm not saying that you have to take Eric Bischoff's word as gospel. And I don't even think Bischoff is saying that here. But you have a source that gives you info. You can then correct that by going to the source, or at the very least, getting his side of the story, and then publish your story with both sides, which is what you're supposed to do as a journalist. This is what you're supposed to do. Dave did not want to do that, clearly.
Didn't work. He had access to me. He could have asked questions. He could have confirmed stories. He could have confirmed rumors. He could have at least tried, because other people like Mike Johnson from the PW Insider, Dave Scheer, PW Insider, Wade Keller, and there's been others that write about wrestling that even back then would say, hey, I'm writing a story. We heard this is going on. Don't know for sure or not. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Or do you want to deny it? They would at least make an attempt.
Yep.
And Dave would never do that. Dave didn't want confirmation. He didn't want to double source a story. He just wanted to write his stupid shit, as long as it fell into his narrative.
Yep.
Dave has a very, he hates WWE no matter what he says, because they won't give him the time of day, despite the fact that he tries to convince people he's got access. He doesn't. And when he does make a connection inside of WWE, I know this for a fact, they feed him some of the dumbest shit, and he runs with it.
Yep.
And they do it because every time they feed him stupid shit, he runs with it. Within a matter of days, it makes Dave look like a complete idiot. He sets himself up because he doesn't double-check stories.
He doesn't double-check his sources.
You know the Backlash is going to be at the Tokyo Dome next year.
Yeah, I read that.
I forgot he posted that. Yeah, so yeah, folks, there was a fake poster, and it was a very well done art piece, by the way. It was like a custom poster if Backlash were to go to the Tokyo Dome, right? Dude runs with this as if it was a fucking deal.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so for a guy that's got access to WWE, he runs with a stupid rumor that obviously is false. But WWE does that, and they do it to entertain themselves. I used to do it. Now, I wouldn't feed Dave information, but I would have other people feed Dave information that I knew he would run with, because it would make him look dumber than he already did. And he's still doing it to this day.
Oh, dearie me. I've actually written here, do you think Meltzer takes every AEW criticism as a personal attack? I think for the most part, people would agree with that. Do you think his blind approach to being positive to whatever AEW does, or adding superlatives? Oh, it was a good match in AEW. Oh, it was a great match. Always sort of bumping it up a couple of stars. In his own parlance.
So
does that hurt AEW ultimately?
That's a really good question, brother. And I pointed this out a couple of weeks ago. What Tony Khan doesn't know, because Tony lives in his own world. He lives in a bubble that is different than everybody else's, let's put it that way. He's disconnected from the vast majority of the wrestling audience. But he doesn't care. He doesn't recognize it.
Yep.
And Dave Meltzer's much the same way. But here's what happens. The more Dave Meltzer tries to defend, to spin, to add superlatives, as you say, to some of the things that are going on, to try to give people the impression that the product is actually better than it is, the harder Dave tries to defend AEW, the more your average person is looking at AEW and they're listening to Meltzer's shit. It's like, dude, you're flat out wrong.
Yep.
This shit sucks. I don't care what you say. It sucks. And Meltzer is so active in promoting AEW that he's actually hurting the product. People's visceral reaction to some of the stupid shit that Dave says and does is actually becoming a reflection of AEW because he's so connected to that brand.
Yep.
If I was Tony Khan and I was friends with Dave, I would say, Dave, please just shut the fuck up. Don't write about me. Don't talk about me. Just talk about everything else, but leave me out of your shit because you're actually hurting my brand. He is a de facto surrogate or representative of AEW, and he does such a horrible job at it that he's actually inflicting damage on the brand itself and the product.
Yeah, I mean, Bischoff said it for me. I mean, and I said this last time, he is inflicting more harm than good. This is the rhetoric, by the way, that is not just shared by, Dave, but, Meltzer has done this with, the Young Bucks in tandem. And, this is the nonsense that's happened, and you think this
attention all internet users.
This shit has happened, with just AEW. No. The Young Bucks and Meltzer have been doing this shit for years, as we have shown now, and it has been the case for a very long time. And there was a section of a video that I saw, and the content creator is from KVTV, and it's called Wrestling Locales, the Young Bucks, right? And this is the type of shit that they do too, that Meltzer also does in his newsletter, and they do it in a professional wrestling setting. They've been doing this type of shit like they've been doing with Punk, like they've been doing with Cody, for years. Listen to this shit.
We will super kick down the Great Wall of Meltzer to uncover the super kick cabal that runs it all, the Reseda hairline boys themselves, the super kick slinging slashers, agents of the dirt seat industrial complex, the elite themselves, Matt and Nick Jackson. The Young Bucks. The Young Bucks rose to prominence in an era of pro wrestling guerrilla, an indie promotion in Southern California, where they perfected their innovative style of spamming super kicks.
They meta and Reddit tier postmodern humor,
using wrestling as the canvas. And it is here where the inciting incident takes place. You see, every villain has their origin. For Harvey Dent, it was Burns. For the Joker, it was society. But for the Young Bucks, it was being forced to actually wrestle. A match with psychology.
These moves aren't performed out of hate. I just believe that these men have fun.
Nick, I tried to set up like a land-based versus an ocean-based rivalry. Somewhat unsuccessfully. Danielson stomps the knees of Matt Jackson into the canvas.
According to the Young Bucks book, Killing the Business, that name, every time Brian kicked, slapped, or chopped us, the crowd wanted more. Every time Roderick suplexed or body slammed us, the crowd wanted more. And guess what? When we tried to fight back, the audience booed. Too stubborn, Roderick and Brian were convinced they could still flip the crowd, so they continued to give us a beating. The crowd continued to cheer. Finally, feeling taken advantage of, Matt and I began to defend ourselves, and suddenly the match felt like a real fight. But the more we fought back, the harder they hit us back. And the harder they hit us, the louder the bloodthirsty fans got. All our chests were purple and blistering. And while Brian continued to deliver stiff elbow strikes to my head, I yelled, "Okay, that's enough!" I didn't want to look like a punk, and I respected the hell out of Brian. But I simply couldn't take any more. In the audience, I saw Matt's wife, Dana, in tears. She'd watched Matt perform for years, and she could tell something was going awry. Brandon and Dustin watched from the crowd, later telling us they came close to running out and getting involved. We went to the scheduled finish, where we'd hit our finisher, and the audience showered us with boos as the referee counted to 3.
To the PWG Tag Team Champions.
Oh, I didn't even see this! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, are you fucking... Wait a goddamn minute. This changes the whole thing. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that they won the crowd over. Holy... No fucking chance, right?
Us with boos as the referee counted to 3.
To the PWG Tag Team Champions.
Fucking Bryan Danielson, he fucking... Oh my god. Shit, when was this? 2015? Something like that? Maybe before then? How long ago was this? Must have been a while ago. This feels like old. This is very old, right? Brother, holy shit. Okay, folks, let me just say this. That was Danielson who just introduced, after a hellacious match between those two teams, they gave the ring to the Young Bucks. The crowd are cheering them. And in their book, they're saying, oh, they roughed us up. They were shooting. Talk about fucking revisionist history. This is just a flat out fucking lie. And you boys claim to be fucking Christian, huh? Wow. Alright. Wow.
We Dude, there for a second.
You won the... Oh my fucking god. Are you kidding me? Look at Matt Jackson here. You win the crowd over, and you look like your fucking dog died. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? What the fuck? Like, you won the match. You were supposed to win the match. They were booed you in the beginning. They were cheering for Danielson and Strong. By the end, you won the fucking crowd over. And you got pissed? Because the match went the way it was supposed to go. You got pissed because it was a little rougher than it needed to be. Oh man, if I didn't have any respect for them before, I damn sure don't now. Oh my god. This is actually just disgusting. This is disgusting to see. Fuck off.
We laid there for a second, feeling a bit violated and disturbed. When we got to the back, the usual loud, spunky locker room had fallen to a hush. Everybody sat quietly with their heads down. Dana rushed into the room, her face wet with tears. Matt promised her he was going to be okay. Dana drove us home that night, as Matt and I sat in silence in our entire drive home, not even making our usual stop to the Taco Bell drive-thru. What the fuck? We were...
Yeah, seriously.
So disappointed in the fans and our colleagues. We've since forgiven Roderick and Bryan for what was clearly an excessive beating, but Matt still refuses to replay the match.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. I want to rip my fucking hair out. Whatever the fuck is left of it. I'm balding. This is not good that I want to rip my fucking hair out. You are the biggest pussies in the fucking industry if this is how you treated a match that was supposed to be the way it was supposed to be. Now, granted, I'm sure they roughed you up. I'm not saying that Danielson and fucking Roddy didn't have some shit going. I think even Jeff Meacham said it. But what in the fuck are you... This revisionist shit is unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me. And then you go and shit on the fans. It's not their fault you weren't fucking over in the beginning. It's not their fault that you were getting booed and they didn't want to see you win until the fucking match happened. Danielson and Roddy were going stiff with you because they know if they made it a fight, and made it look like a fucking struggle for you two, the fans would react and get over. You would get over as a result. That was what they were doing. They were calling it on the fly. You guys are masters at calling it on the fly. And you get mad about that? Fuck you, Dana Massey. Fuck you, Matt and Nick Jackson. I'm not even going to use your fucking government names because you don't fucking deserve it. But Dana, actually, I have to because she doesn't have a wrestling character. But fuck the Masseys. Fuck them all. Fuck that entire family if that's how you're... I hope to God you aren't raising your kids like this. And I don't give a fuck if that's out of fucking pocket. I don't care. I really hope you're not raising your kids like this. Because that's some horseshit, man. That's some serious horseshit. God damn, you're in a tough man's fucking business. Act like it. Even more so than I said that on open mic night. I firmly stand by that fucking deal now. I don't care. That is actually gross. That is such a pussy way to fucking act. Oh my lord, man.
Dude, before I editorialize, let's make one thing very clear. I've never stepped foot in a ring. I don't know what that's like. But I do know this. The Bucks have made this an essential part of their identity in the years since, giving numerous interviews about its impact on how they view the wrestling industry. They've done the press rounds over the years, claiming it was such a disaster and it went off the rails, which is just not true.
No.
Danielson did not bury them. Strong didn't go too far with an excessive beating. They and PWG needed a job done. In a one-night tournament, they needed babyface champions crowned. And I'm not saying it was correct or incorrect, but the fact is there was a job to accomplish. And so they did it. And whatever, you feel what you feel, man, right? I wasn't there. I did not live it. It's their life. But the aftermath is very evidently what informed their ethos. Their motivation, their view of the industry is very, very fucking soft. You'll notice with these guys, it's all about feelings and they're friends. But what if you aren't their friend? What if you don't share their feelings on professional wrestling?
Yep.
You can go ahead and kiss your reputation goodbye.
Yep.
I hated that in the Young Bucks book, they said I was last to the signing. Because that's a big thing. Some of the AEW defenders who don't realize they're turning people off to their product more than they're turning people on. That's one of the things that people always cite. Oh, he was last. He wasn't that big a deal to the origin. No. This guy here, who's off camera, was the first person to ever meet Tony. And he met him in a vetting process for all of us. So yes, I guess I was last. And yes, I had different thoughts. And it's not incorrect at all what they said.
That you were physically the last person.
Yeah, like it's not
sign your name.
It's not incorrect, but I was just in on it as well as anybody else, and that's a little thing that I
unfucking believable. And by the way, this isn't even the only time he's basically given nuggets of truth to go over the fucking NDA legal shit. He did this with Andrew Schultz. I mentioned it before, but he basically kind of let the cat out of the bag to what really happened, and that there was some bullshit that went on in AEW, and the Young Bucks did this exact same thing, and they did it to Danielson and Roddy until they just fucking caved and dealt with whatever the fuck they gave them. That's essentially what happened. By the way, how well are Danielson was world champion, good on him. But how well is fucking Roddy doing right now? How well is he doing? Oh, yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah, Danielson was the fucking champion, but have people stopped fucking going off on social media? I thought there was a disciplinary committee, no? How well has Danielson done with that? Oh, wait. It's probably been overridden every time by the fucking Young Bucks!
The fact that I have to sit up here because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't fucking manage a target, and they spread lies and bullshit and put into a media that I got somebody fired when I have fuck all to do with him.
And it's already...
What is so absurd to me is that Tony, the press scrum, that little clip, Tony shakes his hand in agreement, or shakes it in agreement with Punk, that he had fuck all to do with Scott Colton, but the Young Bucks passed it off as that was true, and they passed it off to their friends in Kenny Omega and Adam Page, who have both since stopped fucking sniffing the propane that the Young Bucks, spew out of their asshole, right? And the fucking Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer, who Brian Alvarez's reputation is never going to be the fucking same again, even if he leaves the Observer, which I do think he needs to fucking do. And he called out Dave for it too, because Dave was the one who first reported these fucking rumors. They were spreading misinformation like wildfire. Wildfire! And you guys don't see that as a problem. Here's a hot take for you. I feel bad for Jack Perry. Here's one for you that you probably weren't expecting this year that, a lot of people didn't say. I still won't watch his matches because ultimately he did fucking put his hands on this guy and he did try to start shit with this guy when he didn't need to. And that's more than I could say about Hangman. But I still feel fucked up for him because he probably believed in a lot of the lies these guys were fucking saying, and now more and more, goddamn, is it more untrue as the days go by. And you do not need to have a court of law to fucking prove that to be without a shadow of a fucking doubt.
Got somebody fired when I have fuck all to do with him.
And it's already happening now with Ricky Starks. All these rumors about him turning down pitches for creative, all dutifully reported by their boy Dave Meltzer.
Tag team wrestling the Young Bucks. They always look...
I'm not even going to fucking try to have his clip on here. I can't even risk it.
Great. But they're never great against anybody else.
And when you're backstage with the Enemy, with the Revolution, it's carte blanche. Bury the guy. It's not a real business. And if you think I'm stretching with regard to the Young Bucks' involvement in trafficking these rumors, the optics are all we really have to go by. The Young Bucks are pretty smart in that they don't really seethe in public interviews. They conduct themselves decently well. They don't refuse to lose to everybody. They cover all the bases with regard to not burying people's shoulders to the mat. What they do bury, it's the very medium of wrestling as a whole. Their insincerity and their "it's not that serious, bro" sentiment serves as a nice postmodern cloak from any and all criticism, where anyone who critiques their work can be dismissed through the lens of insincere, passive-aggressive shots of the SoCal variety.
Why did he...
Yep. Amen, my friend. Amen. This guy has it down to a science. A science. And by the way, I can confirm, like I confirmed on the last podcast, that that's exactly what they have done. That's exactly what they have done. It's not even close to inaccurate. Not even close. There are so many people that hate this fucking mentality of pro wrestling. It's actually gross what they do. And not for nothing, folks. Not for nothing. At the end of the day, CM Punk was correct, because look at where he is now and look at how much business they are doing. And he's not the only face of that company that is pulling that fucking mountain to the mountaintop. Look at the amount of talent that WWE has signed back. Look at how much they have. They have so many guys that are on top right now. Like, the industry couldn't have been better. They just finally revitalized both tag team divisions. Finally. It took a bit, but they're finally there to where they need to be, which is right on time for Raw and SmackDown. They're about to have 2 women's mid-card titles for the first time in history. Finally. Right? The United States and the Intercontinental. They're doing the United States first. Like, Because they have that much fucking talent. And they're going to be going 3 hours for both shows too. That's how much talent they have. To the point now where, you know, they have strong A stories and strong B stories that are doing well enough on that show that they can have 3 hours worth of television. And then they can actually insert random exhibition matches here and there, and it will make the show even better. I'm looking forward to War Games. I'm going to be watching War Games. Right? War Games, I'm looking forward to. And that's more than I could say about anything on AEW. I couldn't give it a fuck about Full Gear right now. I couldn't give a single solitary fuck. Literally, the only thing I give a fuck about is the pre-show match. I'm not even bullshitting you. That's the match of the night for me, and it hasn't even happened yet. Because I happen to think that these two are going to kill it, and it's the only publicity that they've gotten that's positive. I don't care if it came from TikTok. At least they have something. And at least this guy is going to do his job well. I've seen this guy wrestle. He's very good at what he does. We know QT is a fucking stud. We know he can carry him to a good match. I'm not saying he's one of the greatest characters of AEW history or anything. Don't get that twisted. But he knows how to fucking do a job. And he's doing it well. And he's always done it well. But what do I know, folks? I'm just, you know, taking the information, and I'm the bad guy for reporting on it, I guess. Hang on.
They've fostered this culture where earnestness is discouraged.
Yep.
Actually caring about what the veterans think and getting swept up in the action is considered lame, passé, and or problematic.
Caring about what anybody says that is contrarian to their philosophy, you are the enemy.
But self-referential, masturbatory self-referencing, that's all elite, baby. It's this attitude that, when channeled, could be awesome. The preening, Reddit snark, and that passive-aggressive, I am very smart energy could be channeled into storylines, well-developed storylines, with heat, emotional involvement, and with the guy that... Oh, that's right. That's right, the guy they got fired.
That's because I am the one true, genuine article in a business full of counterfeit bucks.
Mm-hmm. And then they did a victory lap, mocking that guy. Yeah, thanks, Phil. Thanks for drawing the house, brother.
Yep.
They took a victory lap
Yep.
in a half-empty arena in front of the guys that publicly stood up for that individual after the Young Bucks Meltzerian smear campaign that worked even me at the time. A fact I'm not proud of in the slightest. In the years since Punk...
Yep. And even though I was very much neutral in that, I'm right there with you, KV. I'm right there with you. I feel the same way. I am embarrassed that I ever, and I mean ever, took their side even a smidge. I'm so pissed at myself that I didn't just stick with Phil. I'm really so pissed at myself. And by the way, I'm not saying Phil was a fucking saint in this entire thing either. But goddamn is... Don't even get me started.
Firing, the promotion the Young Bucks have been a part of since its inception, well, it's reaching a tipping point. Their next TV deal is on the horizon, and we'll see what happens, but should AEW fail to rebound from its current state and continue to double down on the feeling instead of actually running a real business, well, you shall receive what you put out into this world. It's perhaps poetic, right? That their hubris and disregard for the advice of legends past has come back to haunt them. The very industry they mock has rejected the very self-conscious, cynical postmodernism that they promote. And maybe they took the wrong lesson from Danielson and Strong all those years ago. And maybe instead, they've become wrestling lolcows. Maybe those old-timers knew a thing or two. Or maybe I'm just a toxic fed lover. As Uncle Dave would say, you tell me. Whatever.
But before I finish up this video, because again, I gotta play this whole thing because it's so great. Watch this video. This is one of the videos I'm linking in the description. Watch it. Watch it. Get this numbers up, man, because this guy is fucking amazing with his breakdown. I'll add on to your point, KV. not only are they wrestling locals, they are wrestling locals to people they despised. They could not stand that Hogan couldn't see the value in them. They could not stand the fact that Jim Cornette could not see the value in them. And now they have completely gone 180 and so masturbatory and so egotistical about their own craft that they have become exactly what they hated. But, you know, as KV said, in quoting Uncle Dave, you tell me, pal.
Whatever you do, whatever stars you're shooting for, just don't harden your heart. State your case. Stand your ground on your worth and your identity. But never be afraid to listen to those who might know a thing or two. Those toxic old guys and girls might be trying to help you navigate the waters they once did. Or, you know, you could always just cry yourself a good river instead. Whichever you choose, just keep it Kano. 'Cause life is cinema.
I mean, just completely fucking eviscerated them in this one video. Just this one video alone. You want to know why I hate the Young Bucks? There's the video. That will forever be in my playlist now. I don't know what playlist yet, but that's forever going to be in my playlist now. Just to remind myself, in case I ever try to forgive these people, since they are so quick not to forgive others, that, you know what? No. Listen to this shit. Listen to this. So. I am looking forward to listening to more of this guy. In fact, this was 5 days ago he posted this. I'm going to subscribe. And I'm going to turn that post notification bell on, which you should also do for my YouTube channel. And you should also subscribe to everybody that I link in the description, including KVTV, who did an excellent breakdown, an excellent expose on who the Young Bucks really are as individuals. So, thank you very much for that. And this is the fucking advice, Dave Meltzer and the Young Bucks. This is the advice that this man takes. He listens to this garbage. He listens to Meltzer. He listens to the Bucks. Hell, at this point, Jericho listens to them. I like the Learning Tree stuff. I'm one of the few people who did, but now it's even gotten boring for me. And he's also defended this garbage. So, not much else I can say.
On the topic of criticism, I want to know how you handle criticism online. Whether that be someone telling you, like, oh, you should have booked this, or you should...
I want to know how you handle criticism. I want to know how you handle criticism, Tony. I can tell you, honey, how he handles criticism. I can tell you. Iranda. I can tell you that immediately. Or, I'm sorry, Irandan. Irandan? I'm sorry. I'm butchering your name. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I don't want to butcher your name. I actually feel really bad. I don't want to butcher it. This person. This person. She's very lovely, I'm sure. Like, she actually seems like a very lovely soul. So, this is no disrespect to you. And I'm sorry. But I can tell you how he handles it. He handles it like shit. Because we've been covering it on the show. You should invite me on. I'll tell you exactly how he handles it. I can show you screenshot evidence of how he handles it. I'm just saying. I have proof. It's not just in public either on Twitter. It's in private too. He does not take criticism well, darling. At all.
Should have done that. And I think it's easy for people on social media because everyone is so accessible. They can just @ someone or maybe make a hashtag. How do you deal with criticism? Because I know it's not all constructive criticism online.
Well, it depends on what it is. I think a lot of it is constructive. And, you know, sometimes fans have a good perspective. And a lot of times it's really worth listening to the feedback.
That's why you listen to my feedback, and Maurice Shadows' feedback, and JD from New York's feedback, and Duke Loves Wrestling's feedback, and Jeff Meacham's feedback, and Aaron Riff's feedback, right, Tony? So that's why you listen to. Hold on, Tony. That's why you've listened to all of our feedback when we're telling you to get away from the people that are feeding toxins in your ear, right, Tony? Yeah, you take constructive criticism really well. That's why you don't go in people's DMs and completely negate any criticism that they may have, very similar to how the Bucks and Dave Meltzer do. Right, Tony? Right? If you can't tell what that was, folks, that's called sarcasm. A thing that Tony, Dave, and the Bucks specialize in. And the worst part about it is, Tony's just being strung along. He has no idea how to do it any other way because he never ran a promotion before, and this is how you think you're supposed to do it. And he thinks he's doing it correctly. It's astounding. He will refuse to listen to anybody else. They have effectively killed the heart and souls of the company that knew better and that could take all opinions, like Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And he's let them get in their head. They're the only people he listens to advice from now. The only fucking people.
Sometimes, if it's disingenuous, there's nothing you can do. There's just not, like you said, not constructive. But I do think it's always worth hearing the fans out and hearing viewpoints.
Yeah. Always worth hearing viewpoints. Sometimes it's disingenuous. They're only disingenuous when you stop listening to them, Tony. And I'm not saying you have to listen to everything, but don't comment on it either. That's what you're doing. You're commenting on it. You clearly have a fucking stick up your ass because people have called you out on this, and that's why you can barely fill up NBA arenas anymore, Tony. That's why you can't even sell out halfway decent houses in smaller arenas, Tony. And by the way, for those thinking that problem's immediately going to be corrected because they're going to smaller arenas like amphitheaters in fucking North Carolina and the fucking Hammerstein Ballroom, think again. I guarantee you're not gonna be able to hide that on the cameras, by the way. I guarantee you that's not gonna fucking change anything. They're still gonna get those low houses. Mark my words. It's not gonna change shit. Because the creative is dog shit, because it's run by two people in the Young Bucks, and hell, Dave, I'll throw him in there too, that don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know how to book everybody in a proper role, like the people that used to be involved, like CM Punk did, like Cody Rhodes did. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And now they've chased and disenfranchised Kenny Omega that he doesn't even want to come back to this fucking dump. We'll get to that later. So, yeah, they only do that, Tony, when you completely chase away people that were trying to give you legitimate criticism, that were trying to help you out, that were trying to tell you, do not let Punk go, do not let them win, do not let either side go, make money with these fucking guys because you're only going to get one shot at it. And then when you refuse to listen and fucking fired one of the guys because he got physical with a guy who was talking shit on the pay-per-view feed, people tuned out. People tuned out. And are still tuning out. In fact, you got more people tuning out because you keep not listening to constructive criticism. It's astounding. And you got these fucking jellyback humanoid bastards out there online fucking defending your every word when it's not defensible. How you run your company. It is not defensible. And you can't accept that. And you got fucking Dave and the Young Bucks reaffirming that, no, you're doing everything correctly. It doesn't matter. Don't listen to them. They are taking your money. They are robbing you blind, Tony. They're robbing you blind. They're robbing you blind.
Sometimes it's fans of a different promotion that don't really have anything positive to say no matter what you do, and that's fine. You know, we sold 81,035 tickets at Wembley Stadium, and there were people trying to tear it down. People saying, oh, they only got 73,000. Like, as if that's bad. That's more people than were at the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, and people were trying to say that like it was a bad number for AEW. It's insane sometimes. So you do have to be willing to take it all with a grain of salt because we've accomplished a lot with AEW and we still have so much more to do. And really, it in many ways began here in Chicago, so it's very fitting that we keep coming back here to this great city.
Yeah,
didn't even answer the question, by the way, but before we even get to that, I just wanted to fucking finish that clip up here, because that's all I wanted to play from that fucking interview. It was from a show called Wrestle Friends, or Rest Friends? Rest Friends? Yes, Rest Friends. I assume it's a wrestling show. Look, yes, you do have to take it with a grain of salt sometimes. You know how you take it with a grain of salt? Stop replying to the people that just want to see you fail, which is what you should have been doing. Hey, guess what, Tony? I wasn't one of those people that was a fucking WWE fan and a WWE defender. I started criticizing you. How do you explain that one? Same thing with JD from New York. How do you explain that one? Same thing with people like Phil Marks and Duke Loves Wrestling and Marie Shadows. How do you explain that with them? How do you explain that with Jeff Meacham and JJ Williams? How do you explain that with Noah Foster, who's also started giving you criticism? Oh, wait. How can you explain that with people who are still giving you criticism that you actually like? Oh, but they're the enemy if they fucking criticize, right? They're the enemy if they have any legitimate criticism, right? So let's completely, move ourselves away from everybody else and just pretend that, none of these criticisms mean a fucking thing. None of these criticisms mean anything. Yeah. Because that's really worked out for you, Tony. Really worked out for you. A guy that he has chased away by not listening to his opinions before, because he actually gave his thoughts on Twitch about how AEW was being run. This was after the CM Punk Ariel Helwani interview. Kenny Omega actually gave his thoughts on Twitch. And yeah, that's the person we're talking about, is Kenny Omega. He has now decided that he thinks New Japan wants him more than AEW. Let's give this a listen. This is from JD from New York, right off the script. I think this is from his Shorts channel. Let's take a listen to this nonsense here.
Kenny Omega was interviewed by Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful.com, and he gave a reason as to why he did not choose AEW to make his return, but instead New Japan Pro Wrestling. Here's the clip from the interview with Sean Ross Sapp, and then we'll come back and give our opinion on his ridiculous explanation.
And, I'm sure naturally the next question is, well, why not AEW first? That is the company that I helped create. That is the company that I'm contracted to. It makes sense. It's tough to answer because, why not AEW? There's nothing wrong with AEW at all. There's no, if you
notice the sigh that he has to say that. He doesn't believe in a word that he just uttered right there. There's nothing wrong with AEW at all. Bullshit. Nobody believes that. This is what I mean by you have to look at body language and face language and how they move their hands. Not just the fucking words they say, folks. This is what I mean by that.
If you watch any of the episodes of our TV recently, there's just, everything is flowing like clockwork right now. I feel like there's a spot for all of the hardworking men and women that are on those shows. They've all worked incredibly hard to earn their spots and keep their spots. And I feel like...
And by the way, everything that he just said there, you notice he didn't take a pause to think about what he was trying to say. He actually believes that part of it. I believe he believes that part of it. That he doesn't want to take a spot from the active men and women that are on that roster. I do believe that. And I'll criticize that in a second, but again, I think there's a bigger reason why he doesn't want to go back there. But anyway.
If I just kind of showed up and said, hey guys, I'm back, so one of you are going to have to, I just don't want to be that guy. So I feel like when there's an opportunity again, when there's a chance, sure, I'd love to be back if you guys can have me. But
forge your own.
Oh man, we got another ad. Just give me a second, folks, because like what he says after that is fucking crazy to me. So listen to this, right?
you guys can have them. But right now, I feel like AEW has got a good thing going. I don't think they need me. I think they need me. So I will. I'll make my return for New Japan instead.
I don't think they need me. You can't hint the sarcasm there. Can't hint the sarcasm. If you have not listened to his Twitch interview, it is completely opposite because he criticized the company big time for how they handled the CM Punk situation. Big time. To the point where Jim Cornette even agreed with him, by the way. Alright? So... oh my god, man. Folks. Kenny does not... I want to say one thing. If what he's saying is true, I commend that he doesn't want to take a spot away from the men and women that currently have a spot on TV now. However... you have a takeover angle that is the drizzling shits and needs star power to make this thing sing. You need to be on the side of AEW, and you need to come back as one of these major stars. And I'm not sure if he's even fully medically cleared yet. I don't think he's fully cleared yet, but he's supposed to be at any point now in December. I think it's going to be in December he'll be cleared. So I don't understand how you could say that if what you're saying is true and you really think that. I don't know what you're watching, but I know why he said it the way he said it. Kenny got the same treatment the Young Bucks gave Ricky Starks. The Young Bucks gave Malachi Black. The same treatment they gave Wardlow, to Cody, to Jamie Hayter specifically, to Punk. Getting the same fucking treatment. Getting the same rolling of the eyes and how dare you fucking criticize us and how we run our shit. So that's why I think he's going to New Japan. I don't blame him in the slightest because I wouldn't want to deal with this either. That's what I think he means by that. I just don't think they want him there because he knows they know he's pissed with how this all went down. They know it. And he's not been shy about it. If you watch his Twitch clips, he was not shy about it at all. But because he said that, now he's in the enemy territory of the Young Bucks because they're fucking fragile. And so is Meltzer, by the way.
I feel like AEW has got a good thing going. I don't think they need me. So I will make my return for New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, for the sake of not causing any controversy and to not ruffle anybody's feathers, because I know everybody in the community is very, very sensitive, I have one very important question to ask. If you have the likes of a talent, such as Kenny Omega, on your platform, and you ask, well, why not AEW, but instead New Japan Pro Wrestling? He just let Kenny Omega, Sap just let Kenny Omega answer the question, and he didn't follow up with anything to combat or to divulge into his reason. The reason of, I don't think they need me, I feel like AEW has a good thing going. No, they don't. They don't.
Nope.
This is a propaganda piece. This is a fluff piece, basically to get Kenny Omega's name and everything that comes with it on the YouTube channel, on the platform, so people watch, people engage, people click, and people talk about it like I'm talking about it here. But this is ridiculous, how nobody pushes the envelope to ask follow-up questions. AEW's got a good thing going. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They signed a $555 million TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, and every single metric that the company has, from ratings to interest to social media to engagement to live attendance, demos, every aspect of the company is significantly down year over year over year over the last 3 years, and it's trending downward.
Yes.
They have a good thing going.
Yes.
In what way?
No, in no way.
A fucking mess, probably the worst that they've ever been. And for you to go out there and not say anything about Kenny Omega regurgitating some bullshit line, oh, I don't think they need me. Of course they fucking need you. You're the last remaining heart and soul of this company, because their vision and whatever they're producing on television is not what resembles the old AEW. When Kenny is there, we got some of that. When he's not there, I don't know what I'm watching. It's lifeless, it's soulless, and he is legitimately one of the shining beacons of whatever we loved about AEW. When he's on TV, we remember the good days. When he's on TV, we get that sense of feeling again.
It wouldn't be the same if he came back now, JD. That's the thing, and I think he knows that, and that's ultimately the reason why he decided to not show back up. I'm not saying he's wrong in anything he's saying, because he's absolutely correct in everything he's saying. AEW does need Kenny. They also need guys like Eddie Kingston. They need Ricky Starks. They need Miro. They need these big-time names right now. They need anybody that will defend AEW or anybody that will be against AEW. They need to get Adam Cole and MJ, Adam Cole on the babyface side, technically babyface side, right? Whatever. They need to get MJF and Adam Page in the fucking Death Riders, and take their side, right? They need to get people to pick a fucking side. They need to treat this like a legitimate angle here. And they're not. They're not. You need to treat this like a work shoot if you're really going to go into a work shoot. And this is the second fucking takeover angle they've done where they've had shoot elements being spouted out on, and they're not even fucking, they're just putting the tip in. You know? The sex analogy is the only way I can fucking describe this. It's like they're putting the tip in and not going full cock and balls into it. If you're going to go with the full takeover angle and you're going to utilize things that have happened backstage, go full in with it. We have gotten none of that on fucking AEW television, and that's the fucking thing that they needed to do. And they've had 2 opportunities to do this. They had the fucking shit with All Out, and that was probably the most anybody's talked about AEW since. For both good and bad, and that could have been a perfect opportunity to really fucking have a reset by having people talk about, just pick a fucking side, right? Make this look real. They had another opportunity at WrestleDream that they crafted for themselves. Not nearly as many people were talking about that, but they had an opportunity there, and they fucking squandered it too. And for people that are like, yeah, let it play out, James, let it play out. We've been waiting for it to play out for fucking a year and a half! Fuck off with the let it play out shit! We don't have to let anything play out. It's been a year and a half! You need to act now! Urgency is key in this shit! 2025 is like a make or break year for AEW. I don't think people realize this. There's a very good chance that David Zaslav's not in Warner Discovery soon. There's a very good chance they nullify the deal that they just got for themselves. And you're telling me that you don't want AEW to fucking get ahead of the 8 ball here? Let it play out for what? What are we waiting to play out? We've been waiting for a year and a half with 2 different angles that are the same type of angle. We've been waiting for this. Now they have 3 of the same type of angle because of the fucking Hurt Syndicate, which is doing better than Moxley's takeover angle. And that's eventually going to fall flat too, because they're going to have the Hurt Syndicate lose eventually. And they're going to put him in meaningless fucking feuds with Swerve and Ricochet, and Powerhouse Hobbs is going to have a long con to fucking join when he should have already been in the Hurt Syndicate to begin with. What are we doing? Fucking let it play out. My ass, we have to let it play out. Go watch the rest of this video on JD Shorts channel. Oh my god. Go watch this, because he breaks down why Kenny is needed. And while I disagree that Kenny even believes in a word that he's saying in that fucking interview, or mostly what he said about, AEW is great, it's not great. I think he knows it's bullshit, right? I do believe in everything else he said, and I do believe that he just doesn't want to be there because of the shit that the fucking Young Bucks have pulled. That's my honest take on the fucking thing. So, that's not the only thing Fightful fucked up on, folks. We got more shit that they fucked up on, ladies and gentlemen. This is from Duke Loves Wrestling. This is from the Duke and Devon show. So this is the fucking thing that I was talking about earlier, right at the top. Devon Dudley got lied about by Fightful. And we're just going to play as exactly what needs to be said here. So this is from the Duke Loves Wrestling show. Watch the full podcast. I'll link that in the description as well. This is Devon's response to the article that said he was not medically cleared and that there was issues with his back surgery 5 years ago that prevented him from being able to do anything physical. Which, funny you say that, because, TNA went to the 2300 arena and Team 3D were there. And as far as I remember, Devon was fine and got physical. But, But let's just hear what Devon has to say about this, and what Duke also has to say about this. And he brings up a very valid point that I wanted to bring up here.
Speaking of the dirt sheets, you were a pretty popular topic of discussion by some of these humanoid bastards, as I like to call them, these jellybacks. According to Corey Brennan over at Fightful, which, it's a tabloid, it's a gossip rag. They charge people, and half the time they're saying things that are just completely not true. And this Corey Brennan individual in particular, he has a habit of just completely making stuff up, lying about stuff. He's been caught, he's been called out, and he continues to do it. So in this case, he states, Fightful Select has learned that the reason Devon Dudley remained out of the ring on Wednesday's NXT is that he is not medically cleared for physicality. NXT notes available now on Fightful Select for subscribers. So, of course, they got to get their plug in. They got to hustle people out of their money. This Corey Brennan person, first and foremost, or anyone from Fightful, did they reach out and speak to you directly, Demon?
No, they didn't. And, that's one of the things that really, really gets on my nerves about the dirt sheets. Because they're not doing it because they think they got an accurate story. They're doing it so people can click on to the websites and the money and all of that. Listen, you guys can go fuck yourselves, okay? As far as I'm concerned. Each and every one of you pieces of shit. Number one, it wasn't the fact that I didn't get cleared because of my health, okay? That's one. No one can just walk into a WWE ring and just wrestle anymore. You have to go through the protocols. Every time my sons go to be extras in WWE, they have to get blood work and all of that done. Well, that wasn't done. And understand one thing. The stroke that I had and the back surgery I had was 4 to 5 years ago. Yep. I got cleared about 3 or 4 years ago from the back surgery and the stroke. The stroke is no longer an issue. That's one. Number two, am I lingering with the fact that I'm still feeling a little pain here and there with the back surgery? Absolutely. Tell me one person that had back surgery that doesn't have a lingering effect of the back surgery.
Yep.
So again, you guys go fuck yourselves and everything all the misinformation that you're giving out to the public. No, my health is not in jeopardy. And no, it wasn't because I couldn't wrestle or anything like that. It was the fact that, again, I did not go to medical to get cleared. And by the time I got to the arena, it was too late.
Yep.
So that was the reason why it didn't happen. There are certain people that don't get cleared because of medical reasons, but that wasn't the case for me. It was, again, I'll say it again. It was because I did not do the proper screening or take the proper test to go in there to do what I had to do to be able to do the physicality. And the ball was dropped. So I'm not saying it was WWE's fault, and I'm not saying it was my fault. But again, it happened. Get over it. Stop trending over stupid bullshit. And I'm tired of every time I turn around, you guys are just dragging my name in the dirt for no reason. Every opportunity you get, you like to fuck with me. Well, again, go fuck yourselves. Whether it's about me and Bubba not being together anymore, or we hate each other, or it's my health, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Woo. You hear that straight from the source, folks, and you don't have to go to the dirt sheets and let them lie to you for $9.99, $12.99, whatever they're charging people and robbing them on. There was no medical issue that prevented Devon Dudley from being physical in the ring. You just heard it from him. He just.
And again, this just goes to the point of what Devon said just now. You lie about people and you spread misinformation because you have an agenda. And in this case, the agenda of Fightful was, well, we want to make AEW the better show and we want to make them look like they're better, so we're going to do that by any means necessary. And I don't care if it was Corey. I don't care if it was fucking Elboo. I don't care what fucking person made a goddamn article about it. Sean Ross Sapp is just as guilty as Dave fucking Meltzer. So fuck him too. Fuck him too. Unfucking believable. And by the way, this is coming from a guy who's also called out Virtue for shitting on Sean. When that whole fucking thing was going on. So, fuck yourself, Sean, for even allowing this to be on your platform. This has ruined your credibility. Absolutely has ruined your credibility. And it will never fucking recover, as far as I'm concerned. And nor should it. Because you're just as bad as Dave when you allow people like this to be in your dirt sheets. Seriously. You're reporting news, supposedly, and you're not vet-checking any of this shit. You should be the guy that has the final say on all of this shit. If you did, this would not be a fucking problem. But it's not now. And I'm sorry to Steven Jensen. I'm sorry to Doug, who's worked with fucking, Sean Ross Sapp in the past. But if you're lying on people this egregiously, you got no fucking respect for me. I'm sorry. Just simply put. Simply put.
Just explain to you exactly what happened. No one would know that better than him. And if there's anyone who would know that better than him, then they can speak up. Put your name on it and let's hear from you. But these dirt sheets just spinning their own tails and, essentially hustling people out of their money and lying to them. It literally ruins the experience. There's no integrity in this wrestling media because you have a bunch of bozos who are so poor at their job and they don't realize you're affecting real lives in saying this. The way that this Corey Brennan at Fightful has phrased this and the way that Fightful has ran with this could cost Devon future bookings.
Yep.
You know what I mean? What if Devon wanted to mix it up somewhere else and do something and is okay to do that? You saying he's not medically cleared in the WWE, now you're hurting his brand.
Yep.
And I'm just going to tell you folks right now, people get sued for less than that. So you better start being a lot more careful, especially when you speak on this Hall of Famer right here, because we're not going to tolerate it.
Nor will I, by the way, nor will I, because I will report this as Duke reports it or any other person reports it going forward, because I think this shit is fucking absurd. It is absurd. If I think they're bullshit, I'll tell you, like I did with Kenny. But unless you're, I am offering my opinion on what they're saying. I'm not the news. I never claimed to be the news. I'm not having you fucking subscribe and join a fucking paywall to hear bullshit. I'm just telling you my fucking opinion, and I'm stating that it's my opinion. These motherfuckers are presenting it as if it's fact, and it's not. It's anything but. And I don't even vet the source properly, and they easily could have DM'd D-Bon. They easily could have DM'd Duke. They would have been able to debunk this immediately. They could have easily reached out to Bubba. There are some people, I think, in Fightful right now that are friends with Bubba Ray Dudley. They're not even reaching out to him. It's so fucking asinine to me.
Simple as that. Speaking of Bubba.
And go on, because he talks about a lot of other stuff. Go check out the Duke and Devon show. It's a very good listen. I enjoyed my time listening to that, and that was just one of the things that was the most prevalent there. So go check out the Duke and Devon show on Spotify right now. It's a really good listen. That covers the Fightful drama, basically. So we went from the Observer, and then we went to the Fightful shit. Now we just go on to straight AEW versus WWE tribalism, now within the sphere. And look, I'm going to talk about this because I think it needs to be talked about. And we'll come back to Duke in a minute, because Duke and I got into some controversy apparently. And yeah, so let's begin with this, folks. Let's talk about this little nugget here on a show with what's his name, Rosenberg. Rosenberg did a show hyping up the premiere on Netflix. This is what CM Punk had to say in response to this question. So that is the context. This is an AEW question, and a lot of people ran with this, and a lot of people just assumed this was a very tribalistic answer. I'm going to explain why it's not in a second, but let's listen to it.
Do you have any regrets from AEW with regard to matches that didn't happen or stories that didn't get told?
Do I? Oh,
where there's
it's such a loaded question.
So let me reframe it so it doesn't sound that way. Was there someone you didn't get to tell a story with that you would have liked to have told a story?
No.
You feel like you hit the ones that you wanted to hit?
I feel like I wasted some matches on some people for sure, but that is what it is. Like, some people understand the business, some people don't.
So that's what CM Punk said on this interview. Lot of people got angry about this. A lot of jellyback humanoid bastards got angry about this one. Let me just point it out for you in simplest terms, folks. And I said this with Ryan, and I'm going to say it here again because I think it rings true. CM Punk said that after he had already given credit for the stuff he was able to do in AEW and the people that he liked in AEW and the people he got to work with in AEW, the people he wanted to still work with in AEW. He made that evidently fucking clear, right? He doesn't hate... Now, he also said in that interview that he wants to kind of blend kayfabe and reality together because that is what makes the magic of CM Punk work. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%, because you'd never know if he's being genuine or if he's trying to, build a story. That's the beauty of it. Now, in this case, I think it's half and half. I think he's doing it to further a storyline that he could have in the future, and I think he's also doing it because he truly believes this. I think it's a combination of the two. I think he just kind of mixes the both in. It's literally the biggest form of a work shoot here. But the shoot aspect comes in this. And this is essentially what I have to say here. CM Punk, you got to put yourself in his shoes. He had went on to the Ariel Helwani show. They then tried to discredit his point of view by showing and incriminating themselves, and take a look who was in that video. Samoa Joe, who is no longer on AEW television, hasn't been on AEW television in a while, by the way. Malachi Black, Hook, Chris Hero. And then there were people that he booked on Collision as well, outside of the footage that was aired. Think of the names there. Think of the names that aren't there anymore or are just being set on the bench, with the exception of Ricky Starks. We'll get to that at the end of this. Yeah. That's a lot of friends of Phil Brooks or Cody Rhodes that are not getting pushed or pushed properly, with the exception of maybe MJF, and even that's a stretch because he doesn't even want to be in this shithole. Or Darby Allin. Maybe those are the two exceptions to the fucking rule, I think. Right? You tell me where we're at. Tell me where we're at this point. Where Punk is wrong in what he said, especially after he tried to be cordial, he tried to let it go, and then they lied about him. If he was pissed off at WWE for doing that, and he was pissed off at WWE for way more, you really didn't think he was going to be petty about that when his friends are still getting fucked around with? I know I'd be pissed. So... yeah, I mean, Punk has every right to feel the way he feels about that, and this is what, apparently, this is a response to what Punk may have said, and this is from Eddie Kingston, and here's the problem. Everybody assumes this was a shot at Punk. I think this could be either way. I think I could see this being a shot at the Bucks as well. Anyway, here's the vagueness of what Eddie Kingston posted on social media.
The Second City Saint had a heated rivalry with Kingston during his tenure with AEW. And I quote from Eddie Kingston. Now, this is something that he posted on his Instagram. Again, I'm not sure whether or not he was reflecting off the comments that CM Punk made, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But he said, "Nothing will kill a great employee faster than watching you tolerate a bad one." The 42-year-old didn't put up a caption for this picture and disabled... Let me see. He didn't put up a picture for this pic... What the hell? The way they typed this. The 42-year-old didn't put up a caption for this picture and disabled the post-comment section. So, okay. While it remains unknown why he uploaded this image, fans have been speculating that it's directed towards the WWE star. CM Punk recently interviewed... was recently interviewed by Peter Rosenberg on Cheap Heat. There, where the latter asked the 46-year-old if there were any AEW wrestlers he thought he missed the opportunity to tell a story with. The Best in the World responded to this question by surprisingly stating that he wasted some matches, and I quote from CM Punk, "No, I feel like I wasted some matches on some people, for sure. That is what it is. Some people understand the business, and some people don't. I think everybody here understands the business." Which was the quote that he made, essentially, right? And, yeah. See, I'm not sure whether or not personally he was aiming at Eddie Kingston, or to be honest with you, it's not as if he was singling out a certain superstar. It sounds like he was pretty much generalizing there, and I guess Eddie Kingston, took that to heart.
Now, I'm just going to put this out here. I think that's a bit of a stretch, and I'll tell you my theory. I can easily see this going either way with Kingston. I could see him being pissed off. I could see him being pissed off with, what Punk said. I could see that being the case, absolutely. It could be directed at Punk. I could also see this being directed at the Young Bucks. People forget he was buddy-buddy with Phil while he was in AEW. I don't think there was any issues, really, between him and Punk. I think they wanted to make money. And they did. In a short amount of time, mind you. Got a lot of last-minute buys for that year's Full Gear when they had their match there. Right? I'm just saying. And that was on a Rampage, so... This is back when Rampage actually meant to fuck to begin with. I just point that out, folks, because, yes, it could be he has an issue with what Punk did, sure. But, I can't imagine he's exactly pleased with how things have gone, because he is also doing what... This is like one of the most competitive guys in the industry, period. He is so old school, it's ridiculous. When he's echoing the same sentiments that Kenny Omega is echoing... I'm not sure if he's talking about CM Punk in that fucking vague Instagram story. I don't. And I wish I had it in front of me. I wish I didn't. That wasn't the only fucking thing that was there. I wish I could get the actual article up, because that probably got a screen cap of that fucking photo. But, to me, it's insanity, because you could see it going either way. Let's also put this into perspective, right? He could be doing this for kayfabe reasons as well, and long-term kayfabe reasons for his friends. He could be doing it for Malachi Black if he is in fact rumored to come up and come back to the WWE. We don't know yet. We'll see what happens there. You know, he could be talking about Ricky Starks. He could be talking about MJF whenever his deal's up. You know, he might be doing it in the kayfabe sense. You know, it's very similar to how he was doing it with McIntyre and Rollins. You know, I'm just putting that out there. This is what I mean by... This is why I brought up the whole thing with Ariel Helwani, where he said he could easily just be drumming up some stories. And Eddie Kingston could be involved in that conversation also, by the way. He could be involved in that conversation. I'm just saying. And him and Claudio had a pretty damn good feud, and it was very similar in a lot of ways. He and fucking Punk, you know, had a rivalry that was very similar in that way. Him and Danielson as well. Him and Jericho, I think, had a very similar feud in that regard. So it's not like he knows how to make money. He could easily be talking about Kingston in the kayfabe sense. I don't think he's necessarily... He literally said on that interview, take it however you want, just leave me the fuck alone. I remember him vividly saying this, so... It could be a both and. I think in this case it is a both and. I think I could see it going either way with Eddie Kingston. I think he's more talking about the Young Bucks more than he is CM Punk when it comes to, you know, and he's calling himself a good employee. Nothing kills a good employee when more than when you tolerate a bad one. Like, maybe he's talking about fucking Punk, but I could see him talking about the Bucks in this case. I could see it going either way. And again, I'm not saying Punk was ever a fucking saint in that either. But I do think that he might be talking about the Bucks more than he is Punk. I'm leaning more towards on that side. Either way, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get a fucking memoir from Kingston 5 years down the road in the book. Oh, shit. I just fucking closed out of a fucking thing that I wasn't supposed to close out of. But it's fine, because we got it. Cool. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got more shit here. I got into the fucking ring. Ding, ding, ding. I got into the ring. I got into the social media shitstorm that has been going on recently. Not even intending to. But we had some more shit happening. We had some Danhausen nonsense. I love me some Danhausen, by the way. I'm actually one of the few fans that loves goofy shit in wrestling. And I actually love the Danhausen character, right? I never had an issue with him, and I know plenty of people that love Danhausen as well. I'm friends with a lot of Danhausen fans. This is what he said to a fan, replying to a rando on social media. Let me just put this out here. Okay? Let me just point this out here, right? This dude has Trump as his profile picture. I just want to point this out. He has a Trump meme profile picture. Okay? This guy has 134 followers. I'm not saying that to be a dickhead. I'm just pointing that out, right? I'm just saying, right? So there's that. He replied to Danhausen's tweet, who I've now since muted because I'm ashamed. Don't worry, I'm not eating McDonald's. I'm feeding it to my brainworm. This guy then said, Mephisto, at 2 a.m., I'd like to see you do any better, pal. And then he replies with a Superman gif called The Joke. And he said, nah, that's me trying to figure out why you're so popular. You're like a vampire with fucking downs, he said. Well, that really sent Danhausen off, because then he replied with... And you know what, again, now knowing the context, that was the full context of that reply chain. Site is filled with openly racist, sexist, homophobic dipshits, and this guy, and like this guy. And people wonder why everyone's leaving. It's not woke. It's because people like you are dumb fucking losers that will never amount to anything in life and are annoying as fuck. Now, Now, of course, not knowing the full context up until now, I replied with, and I still stand by this, by the way, Dan, I wouldn't get too offended, dead ass. I'm just seeing the context and fairness, but plenty of people in the special needs community love you, good sir. Don't let this guy get to you. Just embrace whatever people think about you, man. Not a bad thing to be special needs, right? Because that's kind of the vibe I got from the character, and that's nothing against Danhausen. That's just how I interpreted that character, and I thought that's kind of what it was, right? And again, this is not knowing that full fucking reply chain, which was just fucking ridiculous. This is why you don't talk about politics, folks, because this is how it gets muddy. So anyway, Brad JHebert Unleashed, Cancel Unleashed. I don't know if this is actually Brad JHebert, but he said, it may actually be the most accurate description I've seen. I don't get why you're so upset. This is why this is what you're choosing to portray, and this is what ordinary people think of it. At least Eugene was good enough that he didn't need the face paint, right? Which is, you could argue that's a bit rough around the edges, sure, right? Duke Loves Wrestling replied with, D Loves Wrestling on Twitter, folks. Hold on, Danhausen. The characteristics are of a character. Hold on, Danhausen. The characteristics of your character are the textbook definition of behaviors of someone with Down syndrome. Right? Textbook definition of behaviors of someone with Down syndrome may exhibit. Why is that a problem to acknowledge this fact? Are you ashamed? Cancel Unleashed had solid points. I replied with this. This is what I replied with. Embrace. So, here we go. My brother, you have testified in front of the grand jury known as X, formerly Twitter. Now, I will add on to your points with this point. I am full-blown autistic, and I know plenty of people with Down syndrome. In fact, I can also confirm this, that we here in the special needs community absolutely love us some Danhausen. We are huge fans of the guy. I've been on that Danhausen train before he ever showed up in AEW, so the fuck are you ashamed of that? Okay, that's crazy. I don't think you should be. In fact, I think you should embrace the syndrome. Embrace the tism. I still maintain that. So, Duke replied with incredible insight, thank you. I replied with, you're welcome. I'll also add that I've seen this guy's quote tweet. I could see if you get offended because he came across as dickish, but I'm not offended for him saying that. So why is he? And Duke with the proper fucking reply with, because of Tony Khan's lack of decorum is the standard. This is what those that want to please him act childish like him. And I said, Pro Wrestling Times, you got to do a segment on this, man. I tagged Phil Marks. Phil, if you see this video, please do a fucking full-on breakdown of this, my guy. You can even react to this video, please. So, yeah. That was everything there. We have pretty much gone through everything. Right, and I think that's everything. I might have accidentally exited out a tweet or something. But I'm pretty sure that's everything that needed to be said. So, yeah. Look. This goes back to what I said about Ricochet. This goes back to what I said about Samantha Irvin and the Young Bucks and everybody. Just ignore social media. Get some fucking media training. And just, if you take any criticism, take criticism. If you think there's some legitimate criticism, take that legit criticism that you think in your head or whatever. Buckle your chin strap and get the fucking work. Because it's better than doing this shit online. Any of your wrestlers doing this shit online is not good. And granted, This was Danhausen giving his political fucking opinion, which is his right to fucking do. I'm not saying you don't do that. If he believes in what he believes in, good on him. I don't believe in either way. I just, whatever. I'm whatever with politics. But, if you're gonna say what you're gonna say, expect some responses to that, right? You don't have to reply to every fucking reply. You just don't. Going to Blue Sky or any other fucking app is not going to fucking change that, by the way. You're always going to have criticism, regardless if it's good faith or not. This guy was obviously bad faith, so why are you even entertaining him? You would not be in a situation where people are criticizing your character now for possibly fucking, impersonating a person with Downs or a person with special needs if you said nothing. You could have just said nothing and blocked the guy. It's that simple. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. We're gonna wrap things off. I'm gonna have some levity here. Actually, no. I'll do the levity at the end. This is the final thing I want to show, and this will be the end of everything. After the serious portions of everything. AEW's fine without me. They don't need me. 3 people have said the exact same thing in the past few days. God damn it. MJF also has said the same thing. He has not shown up for one fucking Dynamite. He has been on pre-tapes acting like he's there live, but he's not there live. So, AEW's fine without me. They don't need me. I replied with, and this got a crazy amount of fucking impressions. Translation. MJF, Tony Storm, Eddie Kingston, and Kenny Omega rather be doing anything else but be within that shit show right now. I got 48 likes. I got 11 replies. Some people disagree with me in the replies, but most did. I think about 7 of them did. 2 bookmarks. 2 retweets. One of them was by me, to be fair. 22,000 people have seen that. So, you tell me where I'm Dylan lies here. Your biggest stars don't want to come back and be on television to help an angle along. Not a good sign, folks. If you think it is, I don't know what you're smoking, man. I don't know what you're smoking. And this is just getting worse as time goes on, and yeah. People want to just ignore these things. People want to ignore that the company is just hunky-dory and everything's fine, and it's not. There's a lot of goddamn problems, and you need to address them, and you need to fix them. And so many people have given you advice ad nauseum at this point, and you continue to not listen. The biggest piece of advice you're still not listening to, which is to get rid of Meltzer and fucking keep the Young Bucks off TV and not listen to their input anymore. And you refuse to do it, Tony. You are a reflection of the people you surround yourself with. That's the truth. That's the truth. We're going to end things off with some levity, because that was the moral of the story. You are a reflection of the people you associate with, and that is the moral of the story. You got to not take things so fucking seriously. You need to stop fucking taking every criticism in such a fucking problematic fashion. Like, everybody is in the wrong. We're not right. Everybody needs to shut the fuck up, and we're assholes, and all sorts of other shit. It's not helping. Please just do better in taking criticism. And this goes to fans and wrestlers alike. Fans can go after fans. Let the fans handle that. If we criticize the thing, you can talk. Again, Tom Brady did not become the greatest quarterback of all time by responding to every Tom, Dick, and Harry on social media. I will say that until I'm blue in the face, because it's the fucking greatest example of it. It is literally the best example I can give. Please do better on social media. Please get some fucking media training, for the love of God. Please. And if you don't like the fact that I'm saying that, I'm not saying you can't have free speech. But for every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So Ricochet told a fan to suck a dick, right? Well, Ricochet, if you're going to fucking think you're silencing me because I wanted to criticize a company for doing the horrible management and horrible creative that they're doing and giving their fucking wrestlers that actually want to make a company better, including you, then Ricochet, guess what? You can suck my fucking dick. To quote Paul Heyman. We'll end it off with this because even though I disagree with JD's whole thought process on this whole thing, I think this shit is hilarious. And listen, I am looking forward to the pre-show match, like I said, more than anything else on this card because I couldn't give a fuck, honest to God. I really couldn't. But, and by the way, I'm not even into the Costco guys like that, and I'm looking forward to it. So that should tell you something. These guys are on the complete opposite spectrum, and this reaction was fucking hysterical. I want to play it for you here so we could go off the air with a haha.
We bring the doom! I'm not sure if that's the right choice of words you want to be using during this current stage of AEW, man. Doom. Yeah, you're bringing the fucking doom, all right. So the ratings are fucking proving it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was Kurt Hennig. Yeah. Good call. That was Kurt Hennig. The rap is crap, but that was way more entertaining than what we got from QT Marshall and that bullshit. I posted how bad it was. I actually had some fucktards in there trying to defend it. Somebody was in there saying, "Oh, well, you can hate on anything."
Hey! I'm a fucktard that likes it. Why you gotta come at me for, Jesse? Come on now.
The AEW does. You telling me you like this bullshit?
What else do they got, bro? What else do they got? 2.9 million impressions. That's all that needs to be said, bro. At least they're getting some traction.
Who
actually enjoyed this bullshit?
Who liked this? Oh man, it went viral. Where's my voice? Where's my fucking voice changer?
Real quick before JD does the skits here, I want to say to defend AEW a little bit here. Not even to defend AEW, it's just the truth, and this is more of a slight on AEW's production lately. They could have done this segment 3 years ago, and people wouldn't have batted an eye because everything else on the show was fucking fantastic. And it would have tolerated this because it was way more tolerable. But now, because they're failing in every metric, everything is kind of looked under a microscope. And rightfully fucking so, right? At the end of the day, it's your personal taste. I happen to like what they're doing. So, I'm looking forward to it. But, you know. That's not to say that it's... the rest of the show is a fucking smash hit. And I'm sure putting it on the show when everything else was abysmal is pretty fucking sad. So I get where they're coming from. I'm still looking forward to it because I got nothing else to look forward to on the fucking pay-per-view that I have to call for the fucking Simply Reliable Studios in about a week. So, actually, not even in about a week. In about a few days by the time this is out, actually.
Oh, what do you know, JD from New York? I love Costco, man. I walk out with $15 to $100 worth of groceries every 3 days.
That is so privileged, JD. Come on, bro. Come on, man. That's so privileged.
$100 worth of groceries every 3 days. I love the wrestler, and I can't wait for this match.
Real quick, just completely unrelated. This is my ADHD speaking here, but I want to try Costco. Listen, I admit I'm fat, bro. I'm fat. Like, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I want to try Costco. I've heard a lot of good things about Costco. I'm not going to lie. I've heard a lot of good things about their food. Apparently their pizza and their hot dogs are like the best, but again, I'm just, I want to try Costco one of these days. I don't even know if I have a Costco around my area. That's the problem. I have to look. Anyway, don't mind me. Back to this.
Jesus. It went viral. So what? WWE had Logan Paul on their fucking television. What did that amount to? Did they gain any new audience?
Yes. Yes, JD, they did. I by the way, I can't fucking stand the prick. Yes, they did. Yes, WWE got a big audience leap because of Logan. He and Punk and like The Rock are like the biggest reasons why WWE is on a high, and the wrestlers that, you know, rode that high have continued that high into what they're doing now. So yes, JD, he is one of the fucking reasons. Yes, they got new eyes on the product, big time. Dude, the RKO on KSI was all over fucking social media, everywhere. Like, yes, they did get eyes. They got fresh eyes on the product.
You know what else went viral? The fucking Hot Tui girl. Okay?
Yeah, well.
Going viral does not make it a good thing.
I agree. I agree with that.
But they went viral. This is what they're doing to generate interest. This is what you're doing to generate interest. How about you hire some Hollywood fucking writers and captivate your audience of adults?
Hey, I'm an adult and I'm looking forward to this more than anything else that's on that show. That should tell you a lot.
You got some fucking 20-year fucking slob out there wrestling QT Marshall with his 2 fat kids. Great.
Wait, those two are gonna be in a match?
They're wrestling on the pre-show. QT Marshall will be wrestling Big Boom Justice, whatever the fuck his name is, the Costco guy, on the pre-show of Full Gear, bro.
Okay. You guys might think that I'm sitting here just trying to be funny. You might think that I'm just fucking bullshitting you. I don't know. First off, I don't have TikTok. The app TikTok does not exist on my phone. You want proof? I'll pull up my fucking apps. Fucking-talk. It is not here. It is not on my fucking app. It is not on my fucking phone. I don't have it. So I don't know who these guys are. I'm genuinely asking, what do they do? Who are these guys?
Look at this fucking, look at the shooting grin on this fucking guy's face.
Look at the shooting. Go and they make silly songs.
Who are these guys?
They dance around Costco and they make silly songs.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I genuinely don't know who watches this guy. Honestly, like,
if you like comedy, you do.
What goes viral nowadays are the most untalented fucking people known to existence.
He just said you just uninstalled it. Yeah, nah. Trust me.
No, Jesse doesn't have TikTok.
I do not do TikTok. I do not.
They go around Costco and they eat all the food in Costco. Double chocolate chunk cookies.
And they're viral. They went viral for that.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm gonna look them up right now. I got TikTok. I don't use it. I don't search it. I don't scroll through it. Let me see what these guys. Let me see what these guys are about. Costco guy. What is his name? Big Justice. I'm gonna look it up now. We're gonna see. We're gonna watch some content.
Big Boom at AJ, I think, but yeah.
Does he even show up? Yeah, Big Justice and AJ. Here you go. Let's see.
Oh, okay. The AJ's the kid. Okay. This is so funny.
I mean, this thing is just loaded with lobster meat. Oh, meat.
This is...
Let me get some of these fresh cut fries.
Look at his face!
This is what they're putting...
Oh, you got a text?
Turn it off.
What is this? He's just eating a fucking lobster roll. What is this? This has 28,000 fucking likes. Why? Why? Why is this allowed? This is fucking god awful. Why?
This is their attempt to bring in fans.
Yes.
Now, don't forget, this is the company that started off This company started off catering to hardcore fans like everyone here watching us right now. And at this moment in time, they resorted to that?
Yes. Because they need to build a casual audience and they're desperate for it, and they think rushing something like this on the pay-per-view is a good thing without much build to it, and on mainly B shows, and then all of a sudden they put it on the A show one week. That is a problem. That is a formatting problem. I'll give you that.
This is what you bring. This is how you. I don't believe this was a segment on the show.
Hey, that was the best segment on the show. JD.
Oh, you bring in a guy who does this. What is this?
When you
what is this?
Bro,
who is this kid?
You started this show off talking about
Looks
they
sad.
bring the boom earlier tonight on this show. I thought you were talking about Adam Cole's boom.
No!
I had no idea what you were talking about. I thought it was the Adam Cole's boom. Get the
Rizzler don't even say anything. Bro, look, they're eating fruit snacks at the mall. Look. Bro, this is like a walking ad for diabetes, man. Holy fucking shit, dude.
These dudes are rich because they go around Costco eating a bunch of fucking food. I'm sitting here. Go to Costco and eat food, and they have a shit ton of money for it.
Yeah. Yes.
Really?
They do.
Really? You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. Now, I know some of the stupidest shit goes viral in this country, but you gotta be fucking kidding me with that one. There is no...
Bro, the whole TikTok page is a walking ad for diabetes, man, and overweight fucking society, man. How about we go to the fucking gym instead of eating fucking junk food at Costco and fucking spreading poison all over the fucking TikTok algorithm?
Because they're millionaires from it. Because idiots watch it and give them ad revenue.
This is awful. This company, well, you guys compare.
Listen, I can't judge because I like junk food, bro. Like I can't judge
them to WCW.
There's more, by the
2000?
way. There's more.
He may get a lot of flack. He may get a lot of bullshit. They can't sink any lower. I would absolutely give Vince Russo a month to see what he does with this show in light of what we've seen on this show tonight. That's what I would do. Seriously. They need as much help as they can get, man. Russo, Cornette, Bischoff.
No. This is why we're in the situation we're in the first place, JD. This is why TNA fucked up. No, JD, no. No. It's bad, JD, no. No, JD, no. Russo and Cornette should be nowhere near each other. Dutch, sure, he's at least neutral.
Any one of them.
You know the dreaded line, like, well, it can't get any worse than this.
No, it will. It will.
Not test that.
Now, we've already.
I actually like this because the fucking show's been that fucking deplorable, to be fair. So maybe that's my reasoning, but to me, I enjoyed it legitimately. And I know the guy's actually a good wrestler, so that's part of the reason. But then again, you don't know that because you're just, if you're a wrestling fan, this means nothing. But to get a casual audience, this could be a big thing for AEW. But watch, they only bump up like 13,000 fucking pay-per-view buys or whatever.
Already been past that, man. Bring the boom!
Oh, my God, dude.
Their big announcement, by the way, was that the Rizzler will be at ringside.
Is that his name? Who's the Rizzler?
The Rizzler's the fat kid that does the fucking inquisitive face. He rubs his chin. He's like,
he calls himself the Rizzler.
The Rizzler, yes. Yes.
All right.
Looks like he ate a whole fucking package of Twizzler. Morning, noon, and night.
Hey, Twizzlers are
Fucking
great.
Rizzlers.
Twizzler, Rizzler, Jizzler, I don't give a fuck. Jesus
What the
Christ,
fuck? I didn't hear that one when I first listened to it. What? Wait a damn minute, that's a kid, JD. What are you doing?
Jizzler, I don't give a fuck. Jesus Christ, get this shit off of my fucking television show, honestly.
Does he have Riz?
How is this helping AEW? Is AEW benefiting from this at all? Or is this fucking cringy family the ones benefiting from this shit?
2.9 million impressions, to be fair, JD. So, yes, they are benefiting from it. How much they'll benefit from it, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I genuinely couldn't tell you. If they don't outdraw their last pay-per-view buy rate, then they literally gain nothing from it. But doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. At that point, it's subjective. I at least still enjoy it because I can't enjoy anything else on the show legitimately.
Who's benefiting from this?
Let's say this stunt worked. Let's say bringing in this Costco dude or whoever they are. Let's say it all worked and you brought in that audience. Is that the audience that you want to cater your booking to?
Yes. Yes, it should be, because it should be the fucking average wrestling fan, a lapsed fan, a casual watcher. Yes. I will argue that they absolutely need to take the steps in the right direction of that. Yes.
Because now you got to keep it up. So, are your shows going forward going to be something that fans that enjoy that shit is going to enjoy on your show? So you're going to keep booking shows for people that like stuff like that.
Hey, people liked wrestling for... all I'm saying is people liked wrestling for the hot models they brought in, and they stayed for the fucking badass wrestlers. I'm just saying.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
The Typherdome air fryer cooked 32 wings in just 14 minutes.
Wow!
Strips of bacon in 10 minutes. 12-inch pizza in 12 minutes. 2 of these steaks in 8 minutes.
Yeah, man. Look.
Whoa! Are you kidding me?
Yeah, look, man. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make that fucking pay-per-view.
Oh no!
Wow!
Because overcooked steaks are
Yeah, the Doom. Yeah. Where's the fucking Rizzler, man? Give me a fucking break.
That is just.
How is this benefiting AEW, Jesse? Honestly, I mean, that one clip, bro. They're getting more views than anybody. Bro, they're getting more views than the entirety of the AEW roster for this pay-per-view combined.
Yeah.
How is this helping AEW?
They get more views than the AEW ratings.
Yeah.
Bro, look, I'm not gonna be able to make that pay-per-view. It is.
Wow, man, the air fryer makes 32 wings. Oh my god. Let me go rush out and buy it immediately, man, so I can be a fat slob like the rest of the fucking family.
Hey, I'm a fat slob.
What are we teaching the kids in this generation?
We're teaching the kids of this generation to be fat, overweight fucking slobs. That's what we're teaching them.
Hey.
So while I'm out on the basketball court with my son, teaching him how to play a sport and exercise, this dad is taking his kid to Costco to eat snacks.
To be fair, the guy is a bodybuilder. I'm just saying there's context that needs to be there. First of all, Jesse, good for you. You're a great dad for doing that. This is such a fucking crazy segment. The faces are what get me. That's what fucking got me, in case you couldn't tell. There's more that he pulls. I'm not even done with this whole segment, by the way. There's more faces to come. But, okay. He is a bodybuilder. I think the kid, they do it in moderation. I just want to point that out there. They do it in moderation. So they'll be okay. I promise. He's okay. He's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Don't overeat, kids.
That's exactly what's going on here.
No, it's not. Not entirely.
The Rizzler will be at ringside for this match. Moving on. MJF.
Wait, no, there's more. I know there's more. Wait, there's more. There's more. There's more. There's more. There's more. There's more. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Wait. There's more. There's more. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I found it.
Do you know the U.S.
Okay, hang on, guys. We're gonna see more faces of JD. These faces are the funniest shit I've seen all week, bro. This is the funniest shit I've seen all week.
It's an MJF where you can just say, "Here's a mic. Go out there and entertain." So.
Oh.
What are you watching now? Oh no. It's gonna take me a second to catch up. Oh, you watching the fucking Costco dudes again?
The Rizzler, bro. Oh my goodness, Salrex sent me that, man. It's the fucking Rizzler, man.
How many subscribers do they have?
They have on TikTok. This is he's got his own fucking page. AJ and Big Justice, where we going?
Yes.
Let me see.
Hang on.
Why can't I look up these fucking guys? There he is.
This is a crime.
Oh yeah, the Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, fuck off. 2.3.
I thought the government was gonna ban TikTok.
I wish they would have. 2.3 million followers, bro.
2.3. What the fuck for that? 2.3 million people tune into this. Look at their face.
Oh man,
pure disbelief.
Bro, the Rizzler's like 8 years old, man. He's fucking 350 pounds, man. Oh my god. Oh.
Look at he's about to disappear. He's gone. He's gone.
Moving on. Jericho, man, speaking of jokes. Where's Jericho?
No, there's more. There's more. There's more. I know there's more. There was a fucking thing that they did like a thumbnail pose, right? I swear they did a thumbnail together. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. Okay, there's a photo. I don't know where it is, but there's a photo where they're both doing the fucking pog face at the same time, and it's the funniest shit I've seen all week. Their hate for this has made me look forward to this. I don't even care. Now I'm looking forward to watching this, and it's the only thing I'm looking forward to on the show. Genuinely speaking, it's literally like the only thing I'm looking forward to. So yeah, man. Yeah, that's it. That's everything. You already heard my final bits there. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the JHebert side of things. It has been a roller coaster of the last couple freaking weeks. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. As said before, if you did not like the video, still hit the like, comment, and subscribe, or dislike it if you dislike it. Turn that fucking volume down for a second, because I got some shit to plug. I was on Duke Loves Wrestling show right here by the time you see this, hopefully. I will be calling the Full Gear event right here on the Castle D18 Studios. And you should check out my uncle's documentary, which I always promote. Part 1, Part 2, and 3 are coming out soon. That will be right here. Go check those things out. That's what I got kind of going on in my neck of the woods on my side of things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We will be back with some YouTube news, some content creator news. And until next time, folks, we will see you on the JHebert side.